Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess. Today we are at the next topic, that is choosing the point of sacrifice, and we are going to look at the dark square complex. So we will look at a set of squares which are weak and they also happen to be in the same color. So this is the position with white to play and win. Do try to solve the position at first and then we will check with our existing methods. Of course by now everyone must be knowing, we try to look at check, capture and attack. So here we can see that all the white pieces, the bishop, queen, knight and the rook on g3 are on black square, and the point g7, f6 also happen to be on the black square. So white of course looks into the move rook g7 check first. Of course the first move is easy, but after rook g7, kg7, qg3 check, there are three candidates that black has and white needs to see all of them. See, firstly there is king f8, second there is the move ng4 which is missed by many, and also there are king h8 and h6, out of which king h8 is simplest, knight f7 mates on the spot, king h6 also loses to knight f7. The main problematic line is ng4 which happens to be the main line, and also after king f8 it must be noted that knight d7 check is absolutely necessary in order to drive this knight away so that qg7 check can win for white. Do try to calculate all this on your own and then check with the answer. So then you can test whether your skills are really improving. So let's see some of the moves now. So rook g7, kg7, qg3 check. Black played knight g4 in the game, but let's start with king f8 first. Of course, king h6 wins instantly after knight f7, kh5, qg5 checkmate. Let's look at king f8 now. As I said, knight d7 check wins on the spot. Knight d7. If ke7, then see just bf6 mates. So nd7 forced. Now comes see qg7, ke7, and the very important move, see f6 is well covered. So queen g5 check, forcing f6. If king f8, then see bg7, kg8, bf6 mates next move. So f6 and then the move bishop f6, another important move. King f7 mates after qg7, and after nf6, qg7 checkmate. So the rook on d1 plays an important role in most of the lines. The main move happens to be the move ng4. To try to calculate from here, if you were not able to imagine the position before, here also see absolutely necessary to look at ng4 because we have to give check. Trading the queens would lead to nothing. See, the d1 rook is hanging and the bishop on b2 is also hanging. So after knight g4, qb2 is one main option, f6 is another, and king f8 is third. So all the three are very important ones, and white has to calculate very precisely, otherwise the position can become losing. So white saw that after ng4, if f6, this happens to be a very important line. Here comes the knight h6 check, very important move. Covers f7, g8 both. King f8 would be met by qg8 and qf7 mate. So see, king takes h6, and now see queen h4 check. Two important lines, kg6 and queen h5. King g6 happens to be the main one. After queen h5 there is queen f6 check, qg6 just qh4 check. This time the bishop on b2 is opened. So after forced queen h5 there is bg7. King takes g7, then queen h5 wins, and kg6 allows qf6 checkmate. So black can go kg6 here. Now queen f6 check. This line is a bit tricky. King h5 and now qf7 check, king g5, and now see white has bf6 check. Very important move. The bishop and queen creates a typical mating pattern, forcing the king to f5. If kg4, then we can see there is qg7 check and also the move h3. So qg7 check, king f5, queen g5 check, ke4, queen e5 checkmates. So king f5 and now see be7 check. Very important move, covering both the diagonals. Now see forcing ke5. If king goes to g4, then just h3 mates. So king e5 forced, queen f6 check, ke4, queen e6 check. The bishop helped to cover the rook's line, and now see after king f4, mating 2 follows after g3, kf3, queen f5 checkmate. So this was one of the most important lines. Now let's see the move qb2. After qb2, again important move knight e5. See the pattern made by queen and the knight. This pattern is worth noting. All the king moves lead to mate. After King f8, which is the main one. King h8 and h6 we already saw. Knight f7 mates very easily. Now comes c. nd7 check, ae7, queen g5 check. Very important move, forcing to go f6, and after f6, qg7, kd8. Knight c5 is very simple, but I would like to show you the pattern. Knight b6 check, qd4 and c, qd7 takes and rook takes, checkmate. And after king f6, there is queen f4 check. Very nice pattern once again. If ke7, then qf7 mates, and after kg7, queen g5 check. Important move, way better than queen f7. And now see again, king f8 allows nd7 mate, and king h8 allows knight f7 checkmate. So these patterns are worth noting. Now we have the main move, king f8, which is what was played in the game. Here too same idea. If you have noted, there comes bg7 check. We would almost transpose to the previous line, except that there is the variation ke7, but ke7 is very easy, just qh4 check and f6 qf6 checkmate. Rest is almost same. See, king takes g7 and now again an e5 check. Black doesn't have any place to escape now. See, same idea, king f8, then knight d7 check, ke7. Here both qg5, qh4 work, f6, queen f6 mates. And after king f6 too same, queen f4 check. If ke7, then queen f7 mates, and if kg7, then qg5, leading to the exactly same position. There was queen on b2 in that position. That's the only difference. So king f8 and d7 mates, and king h8 knight f7 mates once again. The position was a bit complex, but it's worth noting these kind of positions where same complex of squares are getting attacked. So it helps us build a pattern recognition. I hope you are finding these lessons useful and instructive. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.